124 miles. That's roughly the distance between the Balkan coast and the Apulian coast in southern Italy. From the mid-80s and throughout the early 2000s, Italian crime syndicates turned this stretch of water into a smuggling superhighway. One they ran virtually uninterrupted for over 2 decades. They were moving drugs, they were moving weapons, cigarettes, billions of them. But the mafia doesn't manufacture cigarettes. Someone had to be filling those boats. To understand the alliance between the mafia and Philip Morris, you just have to look at the profit margins. In Europe, cigarettes are heavily taxed. In the 90s, up to 75% of the price of a pack went directly to the government. But if you move the product outside the legal system entirely, the cigarettes cost the same to manufacture, they sell for less on the street, and the profit margin becomes obscene. Now, on paper, Philip Morris and the smugglers are enemies. For years, the tobacco giants claimed they had no control over where the product ended up once it left the factory, but investigations claim otherwise. Whether a pack is sold legally in a Rome tabacceria or illegally from the trunk of a car in Naples, to Philip Morris, a sale is a sale. But a Fortune 500 company can exactly peddle boxes on a street corner. To move billions of untaxed cigarettes, you need logistics and manpower. The mafia. So how do you move industrial volumes of cigarettes from a legal factory to a criminal organization? There are two main pipelines. Route 1, the United States, specifically Virginia and North Carolina. Cigarettes are shipped across the Atlantic to the cargo ports of Antwerp and Rotterdam. Here's the trick. Physically, the cargo boxes stay in Belgium or the Netherlands. Meanwhile, the Italian mafia hides their money inside Swiss shell companies. The shell companies use the money to help clean Swiss brokers, and the brokers pay the tobacco giants. The cash is washed, the ownership changes, and only then the cargo is cleared to ship south. Route 2, Europe, direct production from Swiss factories. Both streams converge on the Adriatic coast. Initially, the destination was Albania, but following the collapse of the Albanian government in 1991, the smugglers needed a more stable partner, Montenegro. The cargo arrives illegally in the port of Bar. From here, Italian crime syndicates, Camorra and Sacra Coronita, take possession. Using armored speedboats, they run the shore crossing to Brindisi and then Naples. It's an industrial operation, and the numbers prove it. Montenegro has a population of roughly 600,000 people. Yet, records show that Philip Morris was shipping enough cigarettes for every single man, woman, and child to smoke at least a carton a week. So why partner with the Sacra Coronita, the violent mafia of Apulia? Double dipping. Control the legal market and dominate the legal one. Every pack sold on the black market destroys state monopoly. It hooks teenagers who can afford legal prices. It's a win-win for the corporation. But for Italy, it was a catastrophe. The epicenter was Brindisi. In the 90s, this wasn't just a port city, it was Marlboro City. An entire economy built on smuggling. Smugglers were seen as Robin Hoods. They provided jobs where the government provided nothing. But as the profits grew, so did the firepower. The mafia militarized the streets. They built the so-called blindati, SUVs plated with heavy steel armor. They weren't just running from the police anymore. They were hunting them. And while Philip Morris executives were counting profits in New York, Italian officers were dying on the highway. The blood on the streets of Brindisi finally splashed into the desks of Brussels. This time, the European Union was going after the supplier. In a historic move, the European Union stopped treating this as a trade dispute and started treating it as organized crime. On November 2000, the EU filed a civil lawsuit in New York against Philip Morris, R.J. Reynolds, and Japan Tobacco. They invoked the RICO Act, a law originally designed to take down mob bosses. Senior executives didn't just know about the smuggling, they controlled it to manipulate stock prices and evade taxes. In 2004, Philip Morris International agreed to pay approximately $1.25 billion. It was called an anti-contraband agreement. In exchange, the EU dropped all lawsuits. $1.25 billion sounds like a massive penalty, but the payment was spread over 12 years. For a company generating several billions in annual revenue, it was a rounding error. The $1.25 billion fine was paid. The speedboats are mostly gone, but the demand, it never stopped. The black market simply evolved. October 2025, Cassino, Central Italy. Inside an abandoned warehouse, authorities didn't find a smuggler's stash. They found a monster. The largest clandestine cigarette factory ever discovered. 22 tons of raw tobacco. Machinery worth millions. A 24/7 production line pumping out 7 million cigarettes a day. The Italian clans learned the ultimate lesson from their old corporate partners. Why take the risk of smuggling the product across the sea when you can just build the factory yourself? They don't need Philip Morris anymore. They became Big Tobacco.